Welcome everybody to the new semester and to the exciting data structures course. My name is Jarek Zola. I will be your instructor. I will be your angel, your destroyer, whatever you call me. You will hate me, you will love me, but at the end you will learn data structures. Customary, we'll start with the course overview. So please pay attention. If you feel like asking a question, that's very good. You should. If you have a question, just raise your hand. If I don't notice you immediately, just wave, shout, do whatever it takes to get my attention. Throw a chalk or whatever. Okay, so first thing that you should know, I already introduced myself. My office is in Davis Hall 335, so on the third floor. My expertise is in parallel computing, a little bit of string algorithms, and a little bit of high-performance computational biology, so it's very diverse. But let's say that I have enough background to teach you data structures. This is my email address. This is my web page. This is my Twitter handle, if you want to follow me. Sometimes I tweet, so I'm not the, massive Twitter generator, but from time to time I may retweet something interesting or useful. We'll have multiple TAs and UTAs who will be helping you throughout the course. So we'll have two TAs who will be who are graduate students, who are PhD students, Vicky and Alina. And if you go to the web page, which I will talk about later, you can find all necessary information. And we'll have 8 UTAs. So essentially your colleagues who survived CSE 250, either in my edition or one of our instructors who teach this course. So they know the material, they know the challenges, they know why you struggle, they understand your pain, and they will be able to help you. So you should be leveraging all this help, meaning my office hours, TA's office hours, UTA's office hours, as much as possible. Okay, this is very important if you want to succeed in this course. Within next few weeks, there will be another professor joining the team. She's a new professor here at UB, and she will be taking care of recitations, okay? So she will be in charge of content that will be covered in recitations, that will be closely related to what we'll be covering in lectures, and she will be coordinating and maybe teaching some of the recitations. Once she's here, I will introduce her, okay? The course web page that you should have bookmarked on your mobile devices and in your notes and everywhere is this. So www.cscbuffalo.edu, jzola CSE 250. This web page, and I will talk about this, has a lot of useful resources. You will be going there frequently, I'm guessing. Okay, so what are you going to learn in this course? Well, this course is about data structures, as the title suggests, right? So, few things. First, design and analysis. So, how do you design data structures? How to analyze their performance? How do you analyze their properties? Which data structures you should be using when? This is very important piece of information. So, having understanding of data structures will help you to be the very good programmer, and you cannot be a very good programmer if you don't understand data structures, okay? So, which data structures to use, when, how to use them, right? So what are the common interfaces? What are the common assumptions we make in those data structures? What are the algorithms that underlie their performance and decide about their performance, right? So all these details will be covered in the course. And how to implement at least some of them, right? So the course will have a very strong programming component. You will have to implement a lot of fun you will have to solve a lot of fun problems that will involve programming and the use or design of data structures. Now, we won't be covering all data structures that are out there. This is virtually impossible, right? I mean, last time when I checked the handbook of data structures, which is like a teeny tiny encyclopedia of data structures, it had something like 800 pages, right? With a 10-point font, so you have to have a magnifying glass to read that. So it's impossible to cover all data structures. We'll just cover the essential data structures. Now, as I said, this course is about data structures, but it will have also programming component, and you will learn some programming because of that. Now, keep in mind that this course is not about programming, okay? So the amount of programming that I will be covering in lectures is really minimal. I will actually assume that after 150 and 160, you know enough about programming that if I throw at you a new programming language, okay, you will be very quickly able to pick up its essential constructs, and when I show you the code, you will be able to get the idea behind the code, okay? And with the time and practice, when you will be solving assignments, you will learn more sophisticated constructs because you will have to, and recitations will be there to help you. Now, I know that there were already plenty of questions which programming language we are going to use. Well, the answer is we are going to use C++14. Why? I will explain in a moment. And you know, trust me, I spent quite some time thinking which programming language I should use. Obviously, everybody has their favorite programming language, so do I. C++ it is, okay? Questions? Okay, so why data structures are important and why we are going to study data structures as a kind of one of the most important courses you will be taking in your curriculum? Well, the short answer is so that you can understand this joke and find it funny. And if you don't find it funny yet, by the end of the course, I guarantee you everybody will be lolling on the floor when I will bring this picture again. Those who won't be lolling is those who got F. I mean, that's kind of obvious, right? They won't be lolling because if they got F, it means that they don't get enough, they didn't accumulate enough information to appreciate this cartoon. Okay, so more seriously, think this way. Data structures are critical for your future careers. Essentially, you won't be able to get a job unless you master at some minimal level data structures. Believe it or not, and your older colleagues who already did internships or who are already employed in IT sector, they can confirm that any job interview that you will take with any serious company, I'm not talking about company that is clearing floors in the IT department, right? I mean, that's not IT job. If you want to work as a IT in the information technology broadly defined, you need to understand data structures because this is the first question you will be getting in the job interview, whether you like it or not. And those questions are usually designed to screw you, right? And this is like a first cut-off filter that you will be experiencing when interviewing for jobs. So if you are excellent in programming in language X, but your knowledge is limited to the syntax of that language, and you don't understand, higher level abstract concepts, you will not even get to the level where you will be able to show that you are good in programming in language X, right? Because the first question that will cut you off will be about data structures. Why is that? Why companies are doing this? Well, the reason is very simple. Data structures are heart and brain of any complex software system or IT system, right? So you have to understand them if you are interested in designing and building, extending, or even using, okay, advanced software systems. Okay? Why C++14? Here's your answer. Watch it again. Pure power, pure efficiency, and pure strong force usually is better than sophistication without meaning. C++ is very old language, okay? Let's not deny that. It's very old language. I mean, when I was kid, this was a hot topic, right? Now I have a gray hair and it's still hot topic. It's powerful, meaning it's very efficient, it's very fast, it's very flexible, and it's, whether you believe it or not, it's actually a very modern programming language. So over the years, it came through many updates and extensions, okay? The most recent being C++ 14, there's a forthcoming C++ 17 that is not yet completely implemented, and with these new extensions, this language actually feels like a very modern language, okay? All big software companies, Google, Amazon, Facebook, etc., are using C++ for the critical infrastructure. So the most important components in the infrastructure are typically developed in C++. Why? Well, two things. First, because it is a very mature language, right? Because it is very old language, it has a very well developed programming patterns, programming idioms, and it has very well developed infrastructure behind it. Documentation, programming environments, best practices, things like that. These are things that are very important for the industry, right? At the same time, it provides very good compromise between low-level details, right? So it exposes low-level details of the hardware that you will be programming, but gives you high-level abstractions, okay? Gives you high-level abstractions that you would normally see in functional programming languages, okay? So very high-level oriented languages. And that compromise is very well achieved. So if you have to do low-level details, you can switch to the completely low-level details with pointers, references, and all that crap that students hate, okay? If you don't want to do that, if you want to stay the high-level programming mode, you can just use standard templates library, okay, and other libraries that come with the language, and use very nice interfaces, very nice programming interfaces that the language delivers, okay? C++ is still one of the languages that are given to you during job interviews. So when you will be, for instance, interviewing for Google, you have typically 3 languages to choose from: C++, Go, which is a programming language that Google is promoting, and Java, right? So if you know C++ and you know data structures, you are good to go, get your first internship or first job, okay? Questions? Okay, good. What are the course prerequisites? I know, I'm assuming that you know this already. So 116, I mean, you have to know already how to program, at least in some basic, you know, in some basic frame. So, you know, what is for loop, what is the class, what is object, things like that, what is a reference. These things you have to know already, if statements, etc., etc. And not only you have to know how to write the code, right? That's the one skill, but you should also be able to read the code. What's the difference? Well, if I show you the code and there are some teeny tiny details that are not necessarily something you have read about in the book, or you have not written before yourself, right? You still should be able to infer what is the potential meaning, or you should be able to ask the question, proper question, about the meaning of the components in the code that you don't understand. Make sense? And that requires the ability to read the code, okay? So that's first thing. The second prerequisite is 191, and the reason is that we will be reasoning a lot about algorithms, about data structures and their algorithms, okay? So in order to reason about performance, about complexity, about properties of the data structures and the algorithms, we are using the universal language of math, specifically the type of math that you learn in 191. Okay? And again, this is very important. If you have struggled in any of these courses, okay, so C++, C-, that's what I consider struggling in the course, be ready, be prepared to put really a lot of effort in this course. It won't be easy, okay? Actually, I should say it will be really difficult, okay? So be advised. Yeah, by the midterm you will see that, damn it, he was not joking. And then you will be posting nasty comments about me. Okay? So here's the tentative schedule. This is roughly what we are going to do, or what we are going to cover. So the first 2 weeks, it will be, you can think about this as a sort of introduction to C++, but from the perspective of what you need for data structures. So we will be already talking about things that are important for data structures. So for example, we'll be talking about organization and management of memory, and how this basic memory concept is related to arrays, which is probably the most fundamental data structure you will ever see. And you know, here's again why C++, or how C++ is, you know, why I selected or why I choose C++ for the task. So think this way. I could teach you data structures without writing a single line of code. Okay? We could learn data structures without writing a single line of code. All data structures course would be just math. Okay? First, I would torture you with a recursion, which I will do. And after that, we would basically go and cast any data structure you can think of as a recursive construct or something similar, right? And that is great. That is a great approach, okay? That works very well if you do not plan to be a computer scientist in the future, right? As a computer scientist, you have to go slightly deeper than just theoretical understanding of data structures. Why? Because theory is one thing, practice is the other thing, right? So you have to understand how these theoretical concepts are actually translated into code that executes on the actual hardware, right? So, you know, if you have a nice mathematical constructs, this is perfect, right? You can tell a lot about the property of the thing that you have designed, right? And that's great. We'll be doing this a lot, but now the next step is, okay, how this thing actually translates into something that can run on the hardware, right? And C++ gives you this capability. So after we kind of grasp the basics of C++ and you will be able to do your first assignments, etc., we'll move to the pure theoretical concepts that you will need throughout the course, which is growth of functions and asymptotic analysis of algorithms, right? So these are the things that you will be using as a basic tool to analyze things like data structures and algorithms that operate on those data structures or are integral part of these data structures. Then we'll move to the first kind of serious data structure, which will be a vector, which is like an array that manages its own memory. And that will be great opportunity to teach you about amortized cost analysis. Then we'll start things that students hate the most and which I love the most, recursion and lists. So the most beautiful concept in computer science. Once we have the basics of recursion, we'll dive deeper into lists and we'll talk about, well, iterators as a special case of abstract data types, and I will try to use this opportunity to talk about abstract data types. Then we'll go deeper into recursion and basically how you can analyze the complexity of recursive algorithms, how you solve recursions, and we'll have a battle between iterative and recursive, by the end of which you will conclude that recursion is the best. Then very boring part, but we still keep it here, so stack and FIFO queues. and some more algorithms on data structures, including BFS and DFS. After we cover that part, okay, we have a midterm exam. And the midterm exam will be covering 1 to 6, so no 7, okay? That will be midterm exam. So midterm exam most likely will crush your morale. And after midterm exam, we'll have to work hard to recover that morale and get you on the track to get a good grade. That's why we'll be covering very awesome topics: trees in various flavors and tree traversals, heaps and priority queues as a one way of employing trees, binary search trees. So these are in general very nice concepts where recursion will be popping out again and will be haunting you again. This is why it is so important that you basically don't mess up 1 to 6, okay? Once we are done with trees, usually we run out of time over here. If we don't run out of time, if you are an awesome batch of students, then we cover hash tables, hashing function and hash tables, and then graphs and graphs representations, which I personally believe that don't belong into hardcore data structures course, but some people will disagree with me, and I never ever had time to cover graphs anyway in this course. Okay? Questions? Okay. Course timing. First thing, assignments. Assignments are released, so the first assignment will be released today at 1 p.m. So assignments will be released, and of course we number from 0 as a proper computer scientist. So assignments will be released on Monday 1 p.m. And for all assignments you will have 2 weeks without few hours. So the due dates will be always Sunday midnight, or 11:59 to be precise. The only exception will be assignment 4, for which you will have 1 week. Okay, that will be the only exception. There will be, I will talk about this in a moment. There will be 8 assignments in total, 7 programming, 1 theory assignment. There will be 1 midterm exam. It will be in class, and it will be week of March 2nd. Okay, so that week, either Monday or Wednesday or Friday, one of these days, when we'll be getting closer to this date, right? I will pinpoint exactly which date will be. Okay, but plan this week to be here in Buffalo to take the midterm exam. Okay, make sense? Final exam, May 16, 11:45 to 2:45. Questions? Okay. No questions?
Wait, how many programming assignments?
There will be 8 programming assignments, 7 programming, 1 theory. So there will be 8 assignments, 7 programming, 1 theory. This information is provided in the syllabus, and I will talk about this in a moment. More questions or not? What, too few assignments? You want more?
So just to clarify, the midterm is going to be the week of March 2nd, but the date hasn't been selected.
Yes, so it may be Friday, it may be Wednesday or Monday on the week of March 2nd. So basically think this way, we may have some delays in the course material. Depending on how everything proceeds, we may have one or 2 classes difference in the exact date. But you will know, okay, so just to be clear, you will know at least 1 month. Well, okay, not 1 month. You will know at least 3 weeks in advance the exact date, okay? But you already have a week, and plan your schedule accordingly, okay? Course grading. Exam component, midterm 20%, final 30%. These are the components. So the final grade is the weighted average. 20% is midterm, 30% is the final exam. Assignment component, 50%. 8 assignments, including 7 programming problems. There's a late submission policy. So as I said, all assignments are due to Sunday, 11:59 p.m. And if you miss that deadline, you have 24 hours to still submit, and the system will be accepting your submission, but 50% points reduction. Make sense? Keep that in mind. Right now, the system is configured such that you will have only 5 tries to submit your assignment. This is to force you to first think about the problem and then submit, not to do guesswork and basically hacking in the completely random way your solution. So you have 5 tries, no more, okay? And the last submission will be the one that will be graded. This information is also in the syllabus. Okay. No incomplete grades or make-up exams unless there is a really extraordinary circumstance, right? And those extraordinary circumstances usually will require very precise documentation from the doctor, from the court, whatever the circumstances are. I will have to have a written evidence saying that yes, you couldn't take the exam or you couldn't do this or that in the given time period, okay? You love to dispute grades and points. Awesome. You have 5 school days to dispute any points or grades from the moment they have been released, okay? Keep in mind that if you want to dispute your grade, I will be very happy and I will be very open to your argument, and then I can bring my own argument that may actually cost you points. And don't take it as a deterrent, okay? This is not my intention. What I'm trying to tell you is that if you are going to argue your grade with me or points, make sure that you are prepared to argue, okay? Make sense? That you have a really good arguments to fight for your points, okay? You should, if you feel that I graded something unjustly, or I missed something important, bring it to my attention. You have 5 days. Now, if you come to me at the end of semester and you tell me, oh, you forgot about this or that points, yeah, I forgot, so what? You had 5 days to remind me. Time is gone. I don't have time to investigate whether you indeed had these points, right? It basically doesn't scale, okay? That's why there is this constraint, and I will be enforcing it. The same applies to TAs and UTAs, okay? Questions? Extra points opportunities. There are plenty of them. Some of you already earned, some people already earned like 3 extra points because they were paying attention and reading my emails. To learn about extra points opportunities, you have to read syllabus. If you haven't done so, too bad. As I said, some of you already earned points. In the past, those extra points that people earned saved some grades, okay? So don't ignore this opportunity. Those extra points may save your life, quote unquote. I mean, not literally, but figuratively, okay? Course resources. Course website, www.jzola.org or www.csebuffalo.edu/jzola CSE250. So it's essentially the same address. On that web page, you will find course calendar. So TAs, UTAs, and instructors all important dates for you are always up to date in a very juicy red color to drag your attention, to keep your attention on that calendar. So for example, assignments are marked there, exams are marked there, things like that. Office hours, lectures, recitations, everything that you may potentially need that is relevant to the course. TAs and UTAs won't be, so sometimes TAs and UTAs may have to change their schedule, right? So for instance, you are used to see math on, Mondays 2 to 3, right? And suddenly math has a date and cannot be there, so he won't be sending you email, I'm not there because I have a date. He will just change the his slot on the calendar. So for instance, if you want to go to see your favorite TA or UTA, check the calendar to confirm that they are there, okay? That they will be available. The course web page has syllabus with a big green go button, and it has a section where you will be spending the most of time, which is the resources section. To access the resource section, you have to log in, you have to authorize yourself. This is because, never mind why. So the user is CSE250 and the password is CSE250. Very complicated, very sophisticated, I know. It's really to keep robots away. Okay, so if you want to access resource section of the course website, this is how you have to log in. In the resource section, you will have slides, you will have video of the lecture, and you have some other material that is there. The assignments write-up will be there, couple of other things. So you want to check this page from time to time. Now, as I already mentioned, lectures, as you can see, are recorded, and my slides, as well as the recorded lectures, usually will be posted the same day as the lecture, at night, at evening, such that you have a next day to review them when preparing for the next lecture, okay? I encourage you to do that. UB Learns. Jesus, I don't know why it still exists, but we have to use it. I will be posting your midterm grades, your extra points, and your final exam grades there. Nothing else will be there, okay? So if you log in there, there will be only 3 columns in your grade board or scoreboard, whatever you call it. And those 3 columns will be basically midterm, extra points, midterm, final exam. Okay? This is the way I will be announcing your points. Autograder. I'm assuming that by now everybody has experience using CSE Autograder. If not, here is the link and read the syllabus for details. All assignments, including the one that is the theory part, have to be submitted through Autograder, okay? And there will be a lot of fun with this. I like to challenge people and give them extra points if they do some extra work or they are very efficient in what they do. So Autograder is the place to watch. You have to register if you haven't registered yet. Piazza. I think everybody knows and loves Piazza. Great tool. You can post there anonymously to your peers. Your posts are not anonymous to instructors and TAs. Why? Because in the past some students were really, there are some words that I'm not allowed to use in the classroom to describe them. So piece of advice, please be nice to others. Obey code of conducts for UB students. Don't post off topic, so Like if I see posts that are not relevant to this course, like sometimes you will bring content from some other courses, that really upsets me, and I may take some more serious actions. So be advised, basically use this tool responsibly, right? Finally, if you are one of these people who refuse to use Linux as a main operating system for themselves, and well, I don't know why you would be that person, but sometimes, hey, come on. So if you are in that camp and you have a kind of allergies to Linux, bad news, you will still have to use Linux. But if you don't want Linux to be your main operating system, I prepared Vagrant, which is the technology to deploy virtual machines very quickly. You have information in the syllabus about Vagrant in more detail, and then there's a link to the repository where you can get the Vagrant image and deploy it on your machine. This image contains all basic tools to get you started with this course, okay? So if you have Linux, if you are a Linux user, you already have all tools that you need by default because the Linux brings them to you. If not, you can use Vagrant. This image is configured to mimic as closely as possible what AutoGrader is using behind the scenes. So if your code runs well on Vagrant, you should have no problem in compiling and running it inside the AutoGrader. Make sense? Questions? Okay, communication protocol. So if you have a problem, if you have a question, and you want quick answer, post it on Piazza. Typically, the response time for Piazza is around 8 minutes. That is what we have seen as an average in the past. So you get very quickly, this is probably the fastest way to get answer. And you may get answer from the instructors, from the TAs, or from your peers, from your fellows in the suffering. And being active on Piazza, helping others, if you read syllabus, you will know that there is an opportunity to earn a lot of extra points. So being active on Piazza, being helpful, being a helpful person, helpful colleague to those on Piazza, of course within the boundaries of academic integrity. So if you solve problem for somebody directly without explaining or hinting, no, that's no go. But if you give helpful advice, if you give helpful explanations, right? This is awesome. This is something that I love and I appreciate and I reward with extra points. If Piazza doesn't work for you for whatever reasons, the next step is send me an email. Now, important information, email must be from buffalo.edu. Don't send me emails from Gmails and other things. I don't care. I don't read them. I'm getting too much junk already to have to filter through emails that are not from UB domain, okay? I have to manage somehow communication. That's why I'm asking that you use your official UB email. Also, you should include CSE 250 tag in the message. Why? Because that will bring the email to my pay attention folder, and there's a much higher chance that I will read it. The easiest way to properly format email, go to the web page, click on the email envelope, and here you go. The subject will be already pre-formatted for you. You can just type in extra words, okay? If neither of these works, just use my office hours, right? And no need to make appointments, just stop in 9:30 to 11:30 on Wednesdays. Just come, talk to me. Overall, I love talking to students, even though I look intimidating and sometimes I make comments that look rude and impolite and so on, for which I apologize, but that's my European upbringing. I really want you to succeed. I really want you to help. I really want to help you. So come, do not hesitate, do not be shy, do not be afraid. You will see that overall I'm a very nice guy. I may even offer you a coffee. Just kidding. So, if needed, use my office hours, okay? Academic integrity. Yes, I have to discuss that. I have to discuss that, and I really hope that you will not force me to go in that mode, okay? I know that there have been a lot of cheating cases in 116. If you succeeded in 116, go ahead, try in 250, and then we'll see you next year. Most of the time, I believe that the reason some of you decide to cheat, right, is because you do not manage your time well, or you do not leverage resources that we are providing you, okay? So, if you are considering, oh man, you know, I haven't paid attention, and now the deadline for this assignment is tomorrow, and I just started reading, and I have no idea what's going on. Trust me, it is much better to take 0 points for that assignment and start immediately working on another one so that you can get 100 on another one than trying to get some points and submitting, you know, and basically cheating. If you are one of these people who like to invest into their education by buying assignments, solutions to the assignments on some web pages, well, two things. Last year, around the mid-semester, people stopped basically taking bids for the assignments because they found them too difficult, and they at the end were too expensive, and basically those who wanted to buy them ran out of money. So basically it's better to study early and avoid this situation, okay? So academic integrity. In the syllabus you have links to all documents that discuss academic integrity. Remember, there's a university policy and there's a departmental policy. CSE department has its own policies regarding academic integrity, okay? No cheating is the general theme, is the general message, but there are, you know, details. So, make sure that you read those and you understand what they mean, okay? Second, read carefully syllabus to understand what are the implications. But basically, no mercy, no begging, no exceptions. When we catch you, it's automatic F on the entire assignment, on the entire, sorry, not assignment, on the entire course. And that applies to both those who copied and those who allowed to copy, okay? So applies to both parties. You know by now that we are using all these magic tools, right, MOS, and for sure you know that there are, you know, other, that you can try to cheat MOS. Yes, you can, if you know how, but if you know how, probably you are good enough already to be able to solve your assignment for your own, and there's no point in doing so, right? Also, it happens that I work on the string algorithms in general. That's my job. So we have some in-house tools that help us with some basic checking. So we have a ways to catch you if you are cheating. Now, I want to be clear about one thing. The fact that I'm so sensitive about cheating is not because I'm like, oh, you know, let's cut them, let's eliminate as many students as possible. No, this is because I hate to see students who work hard, right, who are maybe in B+, B range, right, they work hard, and then they see someone who basically knows nothing and has no intention to learn anything, and they cheat, right, and they get better grades than those working hard. I really want to protect these people who work hard, and I will do it with all capabilities that I have. Also, the fact that I'm sensitive about cheating should not discourage you from group studies, okay? And this course is very well suited, okay, for group studies. So when the assignment comes, go ahead, form group studies, discuss theoretical concepts, okay, theoretical concepts that go into solving the problem. Outline the algorithm, right? Think which data structures to use. Think what you can do to make these things faster. But then go home and implement whatever you agreed on your own. No code sharing, no code exchanges, and so on. Each assignment can be solved in the gazillion ways. Each assignment can be implemented in gazillions of ways. So it is very easy to find cheaters. You got that? So how to succeed in this course, right? I mean, that's what you really care about. So first, of course, be honest. I mean, the easiest way to fail the course is just cheat. This is the easiest, the fastest way you can be on. So first of all, you have to invest time. This is not the course that you can take on the, ad hoc manner. Oh shit, assignment is due tomorrow, let me read what is there and then solve it. No, that won't work. Those assignments look easy at the first glance. And then once you start working on them, it's like, oops, I ran out of time. So make sure that you manage the time properly, okay? Invest time, play with assignments, right? I mean, enjoy working on the assignments. Don't treat them as a pain. If you start working early, you will actually find fun in doing them. As I said, each assignment can be solved in many ways, so experiment. Try to exploit those different ways. You have to start working on the assignment the same day it has been released. So you should read that assignment and start thinking. It doesn't mean that, in few minutes the assignment will be out and you have to start typing. No, that doesn't mean you have to do that. What it means is that you should read the text of the assignment, you should think about it, you should try to understand it, and then, over the next 2 days, you should crystallize the solution and then just implement it, okay? That's what it means. Ask questions, ask questions. The worst thing you can do is not leverage the resources we are providing to you, okay? No lame excuses. I'm not buying lame excuses. I mean, this is not high school. When you will be working in the company and you will come to your boss and say, hey, I still haven't delivered because something, he will be like, okay, good, you are fired. A la President Trump. Remember, this is to stress it again. This is tough course, okay? The workload is heavy and you have to invest time in the course. I'm expecting that you will put something around 8 to 12 hours per week outside of what you are putting in the lectures and recitations towards that course. Do you understand that? That's a lot of effort, okay? This is what you have to do. This is 3 credits course, right? So 4, okay. Actions for this week. We have still 1 minute, please be quiet. Actions for this week. Register in AutoGrader and Piazza if you haven't done so. Read syllabus again, taking into account what I said in this lecture. Set up your programming environment. You have to do that in order to submit assignment 0 anyway. So set up your programming environment, test virtual machine if you are planning to use one. Play with Linux and Linux tools, console, compilers, things like that. Select and test your editor. You don't want this to be distractions. And start working on assignment A0. Okay, that's it. Class dismissed.